Let's talk about coronavirus today, and since our interest in supply chain management, and unfortunately, the virus has damaged the most is as is very worse impact is on our supply chains, particularly the global supply chains. So due to this coronavirus, all the nations come to under lockdown, and all the airports and the airspace and the border has been closed. So which has resulted in very unprecedented disruption to the mechanics of most economies, regardless of their size or stage of development. So even they are highly developed or lower developed, it has affected every economy of the world. Almost more than 200 countries or regions are affected by this virus. And since we are our globalization and interdependency was so much at the high level that it is the total breakdown of the whole world's economy, and particularly the global supply chain management has severely damaged due to this coronavirus. And it has raised so much barriers that and place a major strain on the world supply chains. So let's first define what is the global supply chain is. Global supply chain is the distribution of goods and services throughout a transnational company's global network to maximize profit and minimize the waste or the increase the efficiencies. So we this whole our economy was built on maximization of profit and the minimum level of wastage, and plus our efficiency and our effectiveness and responsiveness. But this corona has totally destroyed our responsiveness concept, and same time is we were trapped into the efficiency syndrome or efficiency phenomena. So because we have spreaded our supply chain so in so many countries that we were unable to cope with this pandemic. So this virus phenomena has basically teach us a lesson that how we should work without you know this supply chain. And for this reason we are in the future or right now most of the experts are trying to make a supply chain which should be this pandemic proof global supply chain. So let's see, because this was just a wake up call for us. So we are, it is, and same time we know we have opportunity, especially the supply chain professionals, to develop something or do something to mitigate the risks in the future about the supply chain, and fix these things for the future. So how we will do that, since it's a very vast and complex subject, and after doing a little bit research and a lot of research and listening from a lot of people and thinking, so we were already, we have some kind of fear already in our mind that especially when it's the natural disasters. And we have already, about few years back in Japan, tsunami was there, so it was like a lot of models of our supply chain models have been tested, and which were according to and it was not successful, like just in time inventory or zero inventory, or global and globalization. It hit also globalization. So same time most of the, but this time is like unprecedented things happen. But it is because these disasters were not just a local, it was like a global. So and we got stunned by this kind of phenomena. We were never thought of that this could happen. So but I put some simple present, some few steps or few things which we are going to happen at this thing is that first of all we have to nearshoring mean we have to do the manufacturing, or our source should be close to our home. So the longer the supply chain is more dangerous or more risky, or because since its exposure is more, so we have to shorten our supply chain. So it means we have to bring back all these most of the activities close to us. For example, like in US, instead of coming China, they may go to Mexico, which is next door. So at least even if this kind of the disaster happen, so at least they are closer to their country. That their source is closer to their country. So we should. You will see in the future that there will be smaller, or I'm sorry, shorter supply chain. Then it is a big blow to globalization. We were running. We are rushing toward globalization. We are thinking this whole world is becoming a global village, but this thing, has give us a big setback. Then so we have to be working for de-globalization. Like in the first steps, actually nearshoring is also a part. It is a step of deglobalization. You will see the less investment for and less going outsourcing and offshoring. This kind of things will be decreased. So, and we will try to be more dependent on our own resources as compared to depending on the other resources. And I will there's we have to compromise some of our profits or some of our lifestyle, so to have a assurance of keeping that lifestyle instead of getting this kind of shocks, saving ourselves. So then the next step is also is a part of this globalization is migrating of manufacturing. So we have to create a diversification of the manufacturing in different countries and regions. The big issue was that unfortunately it was started from the power engine of the whole world's economy, that's China. So putting, like we heard in the our childhood, putting all the eggs in one basket. It was We were doing that. Everyone was going rushing toward China, and same thing, putting all our eggs in one basket, and all the China is becoming the factory of the world. So if something happened there, everything will be ruined, or everything will be stopped or disturbed. So diversification of manufacturing in different, like I gave you example of USA. They are going to Mexico, or going to in South America, or closer to that, not instead of coming to the other part of the world. Same thing, and I will tell you, I was reading somewhere the major loser of this is our like China and India, because most of the outsourcing happened from west to these countries. And it was this phenomenon was already started due to some other reasons. Companies are moving out of China due to this their international trade war was also one of the reason, and plus rising labor cost and other cost in China was then another reason. They are moving toward Vietnam, or but in my opinion, going from China to Vietnam is in this scenario is not make any difference, because they are very close to each other. So then the next will be, we like it is the connected to this, that we should have more suppliers at different locations. Yes, we same again, we are not putting all our eggs in the one basket. So then these are like major, in my opinion, the macro changes will happen in the global supply chain. Then the next is like some internal changes we will do in our supply chain, the way we work is one of that is like our contracts will be more specific about the in the cases of disaster, that if this disaster happen, what will be the remedies. these our suppliers are doing, and it will come in our performance metrics. In that, if when there was a disaster, how soon they bounce back, or how resilient their supply chain was. So contract will be going to be spelled out in case of force majeure or natural and unavoidable catastrophic. So about expected what how they will give us the how about the recovery and about the method during such events. If this thing happen, what they will do and how they will perform and how they will fulfill their duty. Then the next will be we will if we keep this kind of lengthy supply chains, we have to do our deep mapping mean we will have to bring each and every tier of supplier into our mapping, so we know from where we are getting. It mean our supplier, we should know about even our suppliers. So it means more visibility, more monitoring, more our knowledge or information about our supply chain. So that is another thing we have to emphasize more. Then like I told you about the cost and about response. So there will be changes in procurement. We are going to give more importance to revenue insurance as compared to cost saving. Sometime it happens in we it is sometime we are when we are going away to save some money in the shape of cost cutting, but maybe that will be not materialized, so we will lose our customer or we lose our revenue. So when things are not coming, so we have to be very careful that we need more revenue insurance assurance instead cost cutting or cost saving. Last but not the least, like I started with that we maintaining excess inventory will be very important. Another thing that we should keep, we are not we shouldn't be very lean or very thin on inventory, or just in time or zero inventory models may not work anymore in the future. So these are the few things we will going to see that they will happen in the future supply chain, future global supply chain management. So it was just a simple presentation. If you have any question, you can write in the comment section, and I will be glad to answer that.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press bell icon. Thank you.